Hi, it's just come to a notice that I have lots of people who watch me on YouTube, thank you very much, but not a lot of you know who I am, what I stand for, where I've been, where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going, so why am I thinking that you do? Right, my name's Jan, as most of you know. Urban Gypsy Crochet came from, actually, when my back started off being bad years back, I read somewhere that belly dancing would be good. Helps to keep your back supple and things like that. Of course, not knowing exactly what was wrong with my back, I decided I would go and learn, and I had a very lovely tutor and I really was thoroughly enjoying it, and she danced for a troupe called the Urban Gypsies, and my aim in life was always, you know, to be good enough to dance alongside the Urban Gypsies, but of course I never got that far because unfortunately my back deteriorated and all of that had to go. But when I was thinking of a name, you know, for my crocheting, I don't know why it just popped in my head. I thought, oh, Urban Gypsy Crochet. Where it came from, don't know. Well, I do know where it came from, but why it would decide it would sort of describe me, I have no idea. Anyway, I've sort of got used to it now, so I'm stuck with it and I'm not going to change it. Right, a little bit about me. I'm 68 at the moment. Not 69 till November, so I'm alright at the moment. Happily divorced, live on my own apart from Buster, my dog. My son's married, lives away now. Biography, well, I was born into a craft family. Everybody crafted in my house. No TV back in those days, born in 1945. And everybody did a little bit of something, embroidery, crocheting, whatever it was, rug making. So I was sort of brought up that it was quite the norm, that you sat there in the evening and you did something. Sorry, Buster's just moved the camera. So I wasn't born to just sit there goggling at the TV doing nothing with my life. I learned to knit about, I don't know, can't remember, maybe 5, 6, 7 years old. A bit haphazard, bit interested in it, not interested in it, but we did do it at school. Boys and girls in my generation, we did it at school. So I managed to make a pair of mittens by the time I was about 7. Mostly I designed for my dolls, which is where I get the love of baby stuff and things from. If I had a doll, I wasn't playing with the doll, I was actually designing clothes for it and knitting and sewing clothes for it. Then when I was about 13, I always had very bad tonsillitis, terrible tonsillitis. At the age of 13, my mum was getting a bit fed up with me, you know, because I was wanting drink, wanting this, wanting that, and she was in the shop because we always lived above a shop, and she just came upstairs, gave me a crochet hook, gave me a learn to crochet book and said, look, do something. I'm fed up with you keep knocking on the floor, you know, for a drink or something. You've got to stay in bed. I'd stay in bed because my brother was also prone to getting tonsillitis and I would have given it to him, and at this time he was teaching. So anyway, I taught myself to crochet at the age of 13, which is why I do a lot of ad hoc kind of crocheting now, because back in the day the crocheting patterns were either for lacy mats, altar cloths, lacy gloves, you know, for church and things like that. There wasn't any actual garments. And then came the 60s, and then came along these mini skirts, the crocheting mini skirts, and I got myself a nice little sideline crocheting for a boutique in Oldham. Crocheting little hot pants shorts, as they call them, and tops, and the very open work dresses which he used to pass on to a seamstress and have them all lined. I also used to do gold bikinis which he used to have lined for his cruise wear, and then sadly he died very young. He was terrified of the dentist, so he decided he would go down to Harley Street in London to get his teeth taken out, and it was then a sort of experimental anaesthetic in the arm, but he sadly had a bad reaction to it and passed away, and that was the end of my boutique crochet. Anyway, I grew up in the wool shops. Then when I left school I actually decided to work in a bank, but that didn't last long because I wasn't very happy there, and I came back to work in the wool shops. I'd got knitting machines by this time. My mother had bought me one. I think it was a Brother, the first one I bought. Used to do machine knitting as well as, you know, knit by hand. Not much crochet in those days because, like I said, there wasn't a lot of patterns, so I would make up my own designs and do things, but mostly it was knitting in those days and knitting on the machine. Then I got married and I had my son, and still working in the workshop, and I started making things for a bit of extra money because we weren't very well off. You know, it's like when one person's working, you've got a mortgage and you've got a small child. So I would crochet things in my spare time and also knit on the knitting machine and sell them in the workshop. This went on and we poodled along and got divorced over the length of time. Then the last wool shop, we had 3 wool shops at one time. My mum and dad retired, then sadly they both passed away. And I was left with 1 wool shop and no support behind me because I was divorced. And the wool shop started going into a bit of a decline. It was the 90s and people had stopped knitting, and as hard as I tried, I just couldn't support myself because I needed money for the house because my husband was gone, so there was no support, you know, monetary from him. So sadly I had to sell the last wool shop. Broke my heart, felt like I'd let the family down. I mean, we'd had wool shops when we'd been 11 years old, and there I was in the age of 50 something, I don't know what I was, having to go out and look for work. Anyway, I did. I went out, looked for work, went working for the job centre, and then when I started really being ill with my back and everything, I'd got to the age of 60, so I did, Busty, you're going to knock the camera again, and I decided to retire at the age of 60. Shot myself in the foot, money-wise, because I hadn't got a full pension or anything like that. And so now here I am, living off my pension, living off my disability money, and trying to earn a few pennies, which is why I opened up the Etsy shop, Urban Gypsy Crochet, if you're interested. And I decided I would go on Facebook and things like that and try and promote myself a little bit. Now, as anybody crochets or knits, you know full well that you never make a fortune at it and you never make a living. But my idea was just to, you know, help out a bit with the bills, things like that, if I could just get enough money to get by on. It's building up very slowly, but it is very slowly. But I'm happy. Busty's going to knock the camera over. He's just going to walk. He can't see very well and he's deaf and he just walks into things. And so I decided I would just start making the videos on YouTube. And as I suddenly appeared on the scene, I suddenly thought this morning, nobody knows who I am or what I am or anything like that. So this is me, this is Jan, Urban Gypsy Crochet. I live in Manchester in the UK. They say it's not the most rainy city, but we have an awful lot of rain. It's supposed to be good for the complexion, but I'm not saying anything about that. Anyway, I hope you'll continue to watch my videos and encourage me with what I do. And that's about it really, so that's me. Bye for now.